All right, y'all. What's up? How's everybody doing? I asked Graninoc, does the Old Testament teach you to hate? Oh, yeah, because the Old Testament is just a hatred, violence filled book. It's nothing like the teachings of Jesus at all. It's not similar in any way at all. Jesus and the God of the Old Testament, Yahweh, they have nothing in common. They're polar opposites. One is evil. Okay, Yahweh's evil. He flooded the earth, murdered billions of people. Like, the whole time, all these years, we all accepted that. Like, oh, of course, God flooded the earth and killed everybody. That's why we love him. That is a ridiculous proposition. I'm sorry, guys. I've been like thinking for myself lately, and that's crazy. I'm not worshiping nobody like that. All right. The Old Testament doesn't explicitly teach hatred. Are you sure about that? What about Psalms 139, where it says, "Do I not hate them, O Lord, that hate thee? I hate them with a perfect hatred. I count them mine enemies." It says that. Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. That's in the book of Malachi. So the Old Testament does teach hatred. It teaches to exterminate and to genocide the entire nation of Edom. So the God of the Old Testament is way worse than Hitler. He's way worse than Mao, Hitler. He's the worst. Well, actually, it's mythological, guys. But let's pretend he's real. He's the worst. He's like the top murderer in history. Ain't nobody putting the numbers up as him. He's like the Michael Jordan of murdering. All right, that's Yahweh. All right, Beelzebub, a.k.a. Mammon. He'll reward you with riches. Just like he did to Job and Solomon. Yeah, guys. When in the Old Testament was Yahweh teaching eternal life? Never. He said, if you obey me, I'll give you a fine wife. I'll give you riches. I'll give you all the kingdoms of the earth. Deuteronomy 28, Yahweh promises you all the kingdoms of the earth, only if you bow down and worship him. That's the same thing Satan said to Jesus in the wilderness. Oh, Jesus was in the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights fasting, while the Israelites were in the wilderness for 40 years, starving, eating only manna. Oh, it's the same exact story. Oh, that's because the New Testament is attacking the Old Testament deliberately with that story. Yep, that's what happened. The authors of the New Testament, when they wrote the story of Jesus being tempted in the wilderness by the devil, that was referencing Yahweh, because Yahweh tempted Moses and the Israelites in the wilderness, and they accepted it. Moses accepted the offer from the devil, and he signed a contract in blood. And Moses took the blood, sprinkled it upon the people. Oh, he worshipped the devil. He sacrificing bulls and goats, murdering people, genociding. Okay, he's the devil. So the Old Testament doesn't explicitly teach hatred, but it's got some intense moments. It's a mixed bag. So Grok must be a bit Jewish, bro. And he's also... Grok doesn't really have a mind of his own yet, does he? He's still scraping the internet. Maybe he's figuring stuff out. I know. He's scraping the internet and reading what all the retards are saying. Because I was just watching an Inspiring Philosophy live stream. It's still going on right now as I talk. And they're talking about the murderer Yahweh and all the genocide in the Old Testament. And they're trying to damage control all the fucking genocide. They're trying to make... They're trying to explain away all the murder and all the violence Yahweh committed. Like, oh, it's not that bad. It's not as bad as you think. Well, he didn't actually just genocide. He just genocided them a little bit. It wasn't that bad. Of course a loving God would flood the earth and murder everybody. That makes perfect sense in my head. I think one of them actually said that. That's fucking crazy to me. But then... All right, okay, but this is a good point. Texts like Leviticus 19 and 18 push love your neighbor as yourself, which is pretty warm and fuzzy. That's pretty warm and fuzzy indeed. However, your neighbor, as the Hebrew Israelites properly teach and the Jews teach, your neighbor is your fellow Israelite. That is your neighbor, ladies and gentlemen, not the other nations. God never said to love the Edomites. He said to exterminate them. Have you guys ever read the book of Obadiah? Obadiah 18 says to exterminate all the Edomites. There shall be none remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it, for Yahweh hath spoken it. He's going to genocide an entire nation of people. That's in the Old Testament. And the Jews teach that Edomites are white people, white Europeans. That's what the Jews teach. Rabbi Tovai Singer said that Esau's Christianity. That's just a reference to the Western, well, just white man in general. And that's where the Hebrew Israelites, the black Hebrew Israelites, guys, they learned everything they know from the Jews and added a bunch of their crazy stuff in with it. That's what happened, guys. I am the expert. You are not. Well, you might be. You can be. We got potential. Text like Leviticus 19 and 18 push love your neighbor as yourself, which is pretty warm and fuzzy. Yeah, only talking about your fellow Israelite. All those guys that live next door, go murder them all. The Bible literally says killed man, animal, woman, child, killed man and beast. It says to kill everything that moves. That's insane, bro. That's only something Satan would do. Which is pretty warm and fuzzy, but then you've got passages like Deuteronomy 7:2, where God commands the Israelites to wipe out certain groups, no mercy. That's not exactly a love letter. Context matters. Those harsher bits often tied to a specific historical conflicts or cultural survival. Cultural survival? So, does our cultures... I can't even talk, guys. Psalms 137 says to smash babies, Edomite. It's always the Edomite. Smash the little white babies against the rocks. That's what it says. It says to take the Edomite babies and smash them against the rocks. Okay, is that part of the Jews' cultural survival? Is that necessary? Is it necessary for people to smash babies against rocks for the survival of their culture? Is that necessary? Do you guys think it's necessary to smash babies against the rocks for the survival of your culture? Or are you a retard? It's one of the two. Or something. I don't even know what I'm talking about. But I do. That's not exactly a love letter, context matter, blah, blah, blah. Not a blanket call to hate everyone. No, you're not supposed to hate everyone. You're just supposed to hate the Edomites. I want to ask him, doesn't Malachi... What did he say? Grok talking shit to me, bro? Overall, it's less hate as a doctrine and more about navigating a brutal ancient world with a mix of moral ideas. I think humans have always been humans. Of course, the ancient world was more violent, but that's why Jesus brought us into the modern civilized world, all right, and got us away from worshiping ancient tribal gods like Yahweh. Yahweh was the ancient tribal god of the Israelites, the local deity of the... He's not the god of the whole world. It's just the one little god that they worship, they made up. Okay? It's just the Israelite Zeus. That's what it is, bro. Israelites worship the same gods as the Phoenicians. It's exactly the same, maybe a little different here and there. Every little town you go to has a different form of the same religion. Okay? Baal, Zeus, Yahweh, all the same. All sky gods. Alright, Deuteronomy 7:2, where was I? Overall, it's less hate as a doctrine, more about navigating ancient... But people have always been people. So I do believe that a righteous man 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 years ago, anybody that had a brain 6,000 years ago would have read the Torah. Well, the Torah is not that old, God. Torah is only 2,200, 2,100 years old. There we go. I fixed it. The Torah is not that old. Okay, but it didn't take a genius 2,000 years ago to read the Torah and say, oh, god damn, this is evil. That's what Marcion did. Marcion read the Old Testament and said, oh no, that ain't got nothing to do with Jesus. Oh no, sweet Jesus. Oh no. You know, because Jesus is wholesome and pure. Okay, I did a video yesterday. You can ask Grok. He said, what do you think? Does it read like a hate manual? Let me ask him about Malachi real quick. What? Maybe I just got a Jew at the other end. It's not even, they turned the AI off and sent me Rabbi Tovai. What about Malachi? It says Yahweh hates the Edomites. Yeah, that really worked. Whatever. You're zeroing in on Malachi 1 and 2 where it says, I have loved Jacob, but I have hated Esau. So where did Jesus ever says that he hated anything? Well, he does in Revelation. Every time you present to somebody a hateful and violent Jesus, every time, the book of Revelation. Okay, so no, Revelation is not acceptable. You're zeroing in on Malachi 1, 2, and 3 where it says, I have loved Jacob, but Esau have hated. This is often read as God favoring Israel. Yes, that's what the Old Testament is, the most racist religion ever created. Over the Edomites, Esau's descendants. It's less about personal hatred and more about divine choice. Oh, it's God doing it, so it's divine choice, so now it's acceptable. You know what, Grok? You know, me and Grok, bro, we're about to have an argument here. The hate here is likely a Hebrew idiom for not chosen or rejected. It scraped the internet and got this for some Christian's website or some kind of rabbi's website, you know, where they were damage control. They were doing Old Testament apologetics. They were doing Old Testament apologetics, and they were publishing dishonest articles on the internet, and Grok scraped it for some data and gave me and shitted this out. That's what happened. No, bro. What would the book of Obadiah says right here? In the book of Obadiah, it literally says to genocide and kill all the Edomites, and there shall be none remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh has spoken it. So I'm smarter than Grok. So AI is okay, but at the end of the day, I'm still smarter than Grok. But Grok is really good at fixing my computer. I'm gonna tell you that. Even though he gets stuff wrong sometimes, you can't trust him. But he's pretty good at coding. I'll give him that. All right. Yeah. Blah blah blah. What else was I gonna do? I mean, there's all kind of shit. What about? Let's read it. Psalms 139. I mean, let's read the Old Testament, bro. Shit's crazy. It's abhorrent. The Old Testament. Print. I forgot what I was talking about, bro. It's like 94 degrees outside, and I'm at work. The building I'm in, it's probably about 10, 15 degrees hotter than outside. So my brain is fried, bro. I'm like a piece of fried chicken. I'm like a Popeye spicy chicken sandwich, bro. All right. Psalms 139. Oh, a Psalm of David. Isn't David supposed to be a man after God's own heart? After Yahweh's own heart? He's after that's Yahweh's favorite person ever is David. The man who collected 200 foreskins off of dead Philistine bodies. That's Yahweh's favorite. Let's go down here. Psalms 139 and 21. This is his favorite, Yahweh's favorite person ever. David. That's this Messiah. Do I not hate those who hate you, Lord, and abhor those who are in rebellion against you? I have nothing but hatred for them. I count them mine enemies. Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me, know my anxious thoughts. See if there's any offensive way in me, and lead me into the way of everlasting. But he said nothing about, bro. He said, do I not hate them that hate you? So he hates people. Jesus said, he said to love your enemies. All right. I'm pretty sure the people who crucified Jesus, they hated him in that moment when they crucified him. But Jesus prayed for them. How come Yahweh didn't correct David and said, whoa, David, slow it down? You know, like when, like Jesus was correcting people, always telling people, don't use violence, don't be hateful, you got to love your enemies. How come Yahweh didn't say, slow it down, David? No, you can't hate nobody. You got to love your enemies, okay? Okay, if somebody hates me, you must forgive them. You must pray for them. Okay, Father, please forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. That's what he should have said, but he didn't. You know why? Because Yahweh's the devil. Yahweh's Beelzebub. Yahweh's the prince of the power of the air, a.k.a. Satan. Okay, Malbosia. Goddamn Mephisto. Okay, he's a goddamn demon, the head goblin and gremlin. That's what he is, bro. The devil, Satan, 666. Grab your crucifix. Okay, the crucifix, that's for Yahweh, bro. What you talking? That's the devil. He got horns. That's why he got sacrificed bulls. That's where them horns come from. Goofy son bitches. All right. What else we got in here? So he hates his enemy. What about that one in Psalms? Oh, where Psalms? Man, where in the OT does it say wash your feet in the blood of the wicked. I'll spell it wrong. Grok will think I'm dumb. I don't care. I don't feel like changing it. Blood of the wicked. He'll figure it out, goddammit. The righteous will be glad when they are avenged, when they dip their feet in the blood of the wicked. I mean, isn't that what Jesus said to do? It says, you know, he was getting crucified on the cross, and he looked down. He seen John. John was right there, and he said, "Avenge my death, my son. Okay, and you will rejoice when you avenge me, and you get revenge upon our enemies and the enemies of my Father, and you will wash your feet in the blood of the wicked." He never said that. Jesus prayed for the people that crucified him, jackasses. Now what about the book of Revelation? He's stomping on grapes. Yeah, book of Revelation, once again. The only time you got a violent Jesus is the book of Revelation. Well, that's where he murders. Well, in the song, I mean, John 2, another place, he whooped somebody with a whip, turn over money changers table. So he whooped someone's ass. That's different from murdering people and genociding. Okay, no, that's just a quick little ass whipping. Ain't no murder involved in that. Okay, he barely even hurt him. He just scared him. Okay, so Jesus was not violent. Jackasses. I'm sorry if I keep calling people jackasses. Jesus, anything Jesus said, I could say. He called people slow of heart. Slow of heart. Heart is your mind. To be slow in your head, that means you're retarded. Alright, this is part of the psalm attributed to David. Yeah, I don't even care about David. Everybody talking about, King David is my favorite. He's my favorite. I think I'm King David in the reincarnation because I'm retarded. You know? Motherfucker, I done met so many goddamn King Davids in my life. I met a woman, she told me she was King David in the reincarnation. That bitch was crazy. She tried to give me a tarot reading. Alright, so, no, you're all crazy. Not, I mean, whoever this applies to. You know who you are. You're all crazy. King David was a weirdo. He's an adulterer. He killed somebody for his wife. Okay, King David killed somebody for his wife. He collected foreskins off of dead penises from Philistines. Bro, that's wild. Okay? That's just crazy to me. I mean, he did some other stuff. Maybe he did some good stuff. Maybe he could play the guitar really good. So if you can play the guitar really good, you can get away with murder. You know what I mean? I understand that. That makes a lot of sense. I just not thought about that perspective. Now that I'm thinking about that perspective, it's making more sense to me. So that's just my opinions today. I wanted to get a quick video out. I just wanted to talk shit about Yahweh calling the devil and Satan real quick. Because I mean, that's really what I enjoy doing the most with my spare time, is talking shit about non-existing beings. That's just whack, bro. I'm a straight up schizo.